It's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Pesach. It's all for us. If we look at the end of the Haggadah, the end of the Magid section, the end of this part of the Haggadah where we're actually telling the story, we find a beautiful bracha. Everyone wonders, where's the bracha? Everything needs a bracha, right? Even the Zohar needs a bracha. Where's the bracha? Where's the blessing for the Haggadah? So it comes sort of at the end. We say, Asher galanu ga'alavta avotinu miMitzrayim. It's a beautiful bracha. We thank God for redeeming us and redeeming our ancestors. You can imagine that, let's say, in the end of days when we'll be redeemed, when the Mashiach will come, maybe we'll say this bracha, Asher ga'alanu, that God has redeemed us and redeemed our ancestors. It's an amazing bracha. However, the Netziv, Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, he points out in his commentary, Imre Shefer, that this bracha is formulated in a very strange way. We bless God who redeemed us and our ancestors. And he took us out from slavery. What's the obvious question? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Who redeemed our ancestors and redeemed us? So it's very strange. So he says, no, the answer is obvious. That we just said towards the end of the Haggadah, or the Magid section, that b'chol dover dorach chayav li'irus atzmos ki yatzim mitzrayim. That in every generation you have to see yourself as if you went out of Egypt. So the essence of the story is not about our ancestors, but it's about me going out of Egypt. And he goes one step further. In every generation you have to see yourself that it's for this generation that we went out. In other words, think about the trajectory of Jewish history. Yes, we went out of Egypt. Yes, the temple was built, the temple was destroyed. Yes, the Torah was given. The Talmud was written. The different books of the medieval commentators were all written. We went through the different persecutions, the Crusades, the expulsion from Spain, the Holocaust. And then you know what it all ended up with? At this point, you know what the Unter der Shura, as they say in Yiddish, the bottom line of all that stuff, all that history, you know what it is? It's you and it's me. It's right now. We didn't go out of Egypt so that that would be the end of the story. We went out of Egypt in many ways so I would be here today. Of course, the next generation will say the same thing, but right now, there's no other reason that we went out of Egypt if not for me right here. We're not a terminal people. We don't believe that we are a people that, even though everyone's trying to kill us, but we're supposed to continue. It says in the end of Vayikra that God would never despise us or wipe us out to abrogate his covenant with us. So we'll always be here. So the purpose of going out of Egypt is so I, Joel Finkelstein, will be here right now. All right, there are other Joel Finkelstein, there are other Jews, but it's for us. It's for us right now. So when we say, blessed is God who redeemed us, meaning redeemed us then so that we could be here right now. He also quotes a Medrash Rabbah that says, that there's a pasuk that says in Isaiah 29, that so says God to the house of Jacob, who redeemed Abraham. Jacob redeemed Abraham? Yes. He says, because of Yaakov, God redeemed Abraham. So in other words, it could be because of Joel Finkelstein right now. My grandson, Yosef. My children. It's for them that God took us out of Egypt. It's for you, y'all, everybody out there who's Jewish. It's for us that God redeemed us then. He said, that's not chronological. I don't understand it. I mean, God redeemed me then for now. Yes, that's what happened. So Asher Galanu, you know why he redeemed us? When he redeemed us then, it wasn't for then, it was for now as well. And this relates to the notion of sort of trying to make the Haggadah relevant to us, that we're not just talking about history. I know some people when they study what they call Old Testament, they call it Old Testament history, as if the Bible is just one big history book. As a matter of fact, it's not a history book. There's very little resemblance between the Torah and history. In history, you need to know who are the kings, who are the warriors, who are the battles. The Torah is not interested in that. The Torah, as Rav Meitan said, is interested in the history of God and the Jewish people. God and his relationship to the human being through the Jewish people. That's what the Torah is all about. So, we're not at the Seder, we're not reading history. Once upon a time, kids, God took us out of Egypt. No, we're here as that God took us out. We're here to discuss the miracles of God. It's not about history. It's about mystery. It's about the actions of God, the wonders of God, to be thankful and to realize that everything that happened in history comes to the terminus of me right here. And then I have obligation to pass it on to the next generation so that God can continue to have that purpose. The purpose of the Exodus was for me today, who is a link to tomorrow, and therefore yesterday was done for today and also for tomorrow, and eventually for the Mashiach Tzidkenu. This notion that the story of the Exodus is not about them, but it's about us, is how we should read every passage of the Torah and the Talmud. When we're studying Torah, we should always feel like, oh, this passage is written for me. As the Hasidim say, Al derech havoda, what is this passage telling me? It's written for me. It really is. You say, this mythological Jewish idea, religious pietistic idea that the Torah is talking to me. No, it really is. Because the Torah is not this temporal thing that was written for Joshua and Nachshon ben Aminadav and a bunch of folks who lived 3,300 years ago. No, the Torah, if it's to be eternal, it has to be written and relevant to me today, Joel Finkelstein, right here. Now, of course, it has to be relevant to someone else who's living today and the people who are living tomorrow. But for right now, there's no purpose in that Torah other than for what it tells me in my life. So when we talk about transmitting to our children, and we try to convey to them that this is not history, this is not something happened a long time ago, this is not irrelevant, this is not somebody else's story, this is our story. Our history is our story today. We're living out the dreams and the disappointments and everything and the aspirations of everyone who came before us. That's what the Haggadah is all about. And therefore, at the end of the Haggadah, we say, thank you, God, for redeeming us. In other words, for redeeming my ancestors for the purpose of us, for the purpose of me being here and being Jewish. That's the goal. The goal all along is there would be a Joel Finkelstein, there would be a you, and there would be a me, and there would be all the different millions of Jews today. That's why they went through all that, to make it to this day, and God willing, to make it to tomorrow as well. Thank you for joining us here at the Baron Hirsch Congregation for our discussion of Pesach and the various holidays. Join us on our playlist. We have 62 videos about Pesach. Check out what we've said in the past about Pesach, different lectures and Haggadah discussions, all kinds of things, discussion of the Parsha. And thanks to our sponsors today, Karen and Barney Abbas, who sponsored in loving memory of Barney's parents, Alan and Myrna Abbas. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.